Hello everyone, how are you out there in Craftyville? So I'm going to go ahead and work with Altenew's Dainty Bouquet today for our projects. If you have Altenew Dainty Bouquet, craft along. If not, watch the recording later and craft along with me then. So we're going to go right on over. Hello again. Yes, hello. I took a little bit longer in between because I had those back to back today, but that's okay. All right, so let's head on down. And in all honesty, the reason some of my stamp selections, you may be like, wow, she's going through the older stuff. Yes, because I organized my room and I had put some stuff away. And so I had left out things that I hadn't really used yet and I thought were really pretty that day, because every day something else different speaks to you. Hello. The day I went through, this stamp set really spoke to me and I was like, this is so pretty and I have not used it. Now, I am going to use my little tool a lot today because there are a lot of these smaller stamps that we always get stuck to our fingers and they move and we're like, ah. So I am going to use that a bit today. But I'm super excited to share this with you. I did recently use this set for a project. And here is what we're going to make today. Now you're like, wow, that's like a whole sheet of paper. Yes, it's 5 by 7. So we likely will trim this down, but I couldn't decide if I wanted like a decal edge, if I wanted just a regular edge, if I wanted to do my friend Nancy's trick where put like a colored cardstock on 2 sides. So I couldn't decide, so I left it. But if you haven't seen this set, I'm sorry, because it's gorgeous. And you're going to be like, oh, man, it is a beautiful set. It is super beautiful. All right, so we're going to get started. I do have the layering guide. This layering guide is a little bit older. So you'll notice that the stamps are labeled. Okay, so we have ABC, C2, C1, A1, B1, but they're not kind of labeled over here. So again, these are yours. If you have to mark these so you know what is what, go for it. Because the thing is, we want you to use your supplies. And if you know right where to put this, or if a stamp set, is easier to use, then you're more likely to pull it out. If you're not like every time, oh, I just can't line it up. So mark down things that make it easier for you to line things up. So I'm going to keep that, of course, close at hand because we all need that close at hand. Okay. And I will do the disclaimer as well when it goes on YouTube. The disclaimer is that I did post my affiliate link in the chat box below the video. And I do earn a small commission for referring you to Altenew. However, it is at no cost to you. You still can use discounts as well as you still can earn rewards. It does not affect any of that. It basically just says, hey, Bridget Casey sent me your way. That's all it does. So no cost, no nothing, nothing there. Nothing bad. Okay, so now in theories, because this does have a die set, okay, the dies back here, so it will cut the little sprig and it will also cut your 2 images, okay? I don't think I'm going to do that. It's a tough decision because this would be a 3.5 panel. This would be 3.5 by 5. So that could be a nice card set. So let's see. I don't know. I can't decide. Okay, no, let's do 1 and 1. Let's do 1 and 1 because that way I can combine them or I can die cut them. But I locked out the furs because they were being as obnoxious as one would say. So now they're trying to break their way back in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go down and pick this up. Okay, and then we just pick up, flip, and it's ready to ink. Look at that. All right, and so our first layer is going to be with Morning Frost. Now, I do recommend, and I actually saw some of these the other day. Let's see if I can do it without shutting off all of my lights. Maybe I didn't see these. Oh, goodness. I thought I saw them. You know when you thought you saw something and it was right... Oh, there it is. It was hiding under blending brushes. It was right there. So this is what these really look like. But Emery likes to eat mine. So I've only used bits of one because Emery breaks them off. But I've only used one. And I've had these forever. So they do. Yes, Emery Casey feels that crafting cannot occur unless she has come in and given her furry seal of approval. The only problem with her furry seal of approval is it gets on my stamps. So her furry seal of approval comes at a price for me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And I'm not worried if I mess up my inking because I have the amazing stamp wheel. And then I just flip and bring it in. Okay, and then push down. And voila. So I missed a little in the center there. So I'm going to go back in for another go round, as they say, making sure my middle is good. Okay, and then making sure my dots are in the right place, because otherwise I'm going to stamp my stamp beautifully inked down into the wrong place. So we're going to go ahead and we will do that. We'll have that. And I think, honestly, if you're doing sympathy cards, you could almost even just do this as kind of your, and then put with sympathy. I think this is so delicate and beautiful. I think, yay, Cece, you found us. That's why I said I'll see some of you very, very soon. Because I knew some were coming over to visit with me here. But I think you could even just put a sentiment. I'm sorry, one of my lights is here now. I don't know if that makes it worse. Okay. But so there, I think you could just slap a with sentiment, with sentiment. Could you imagine sending that with sentiment, with sympathy? I think you could pop right in there, and I think you'd have a beautiful card. Maybe a little splatter, maybe even little maybe black splatter to kind of convey the mood. But I think that would be an absolutely beautiful card for a sympathy card, because sympathy cards are difficult, aren't they? Because a lot of times, well, A, sympathy cards are sad. But B, I think sympathy cards are hard because a lot of times sympathy cards are clean and simple. And I think clean and simple is a type that a lot of folks struggle with. So I think there's a few things happening with sympathy cards and why those are difficult. Okay, so we've got the first layer, and Emery's not even in here, and I've got some Emery fur. Must have been left over from the last time. All right, so we're going to do A1. Okay. And A1, if we come over, this is going to be the leaves. Oh, I'm pulling the wrong, hold on. Maybe we're not going to do A1. Oh no, yes we are. Yes we are. Okay. I thought I pulled the wrong flower, but I did not pull the wrong flower. I pulled the correct right here. Okay. So this is A down here. Okay. A is red. That's going to go there. Okay. So then it is making sure that you get this lined up. And I will do my best. I'm actually, for just a second, because my lighting is in a weird way. So I'm just for a second going to shut that off and see if that didn't help. Okay. I have to redo my lighting yet once again because I'm always experimenting, because you're always chasing that better lighting, quite frankly. All right. And because it's light, it's a little harder. Let me go up over it. Standing on my tiptoes here. Okay, and if I get close, I'm happy. And what you can do as well is you can stamp on a transparency first to make sure that you're in the neighborhood, so to speak. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's try that. So let's flip over. Okay, so we're in position to pick it up. Pick it up. Okay, and I'm going to put that to the side for a second. And then it can be any transparency. I usually have a couple floating around, but because I am looking for one, oh, there it is. Okay, I was going to say, because I am looking for one, it probably will not be here, but it is. All right. So I'm going to put that just down. Oh, it's a little too big for this. Okay, well, we will know if we're in the vicinity. Okay, so this one we would stamp with Volcano Lake. The last one is Morning Frost. This one is Volcano Lake. So I'm going to try and just, as long as I don't have anything in the way, my transparency is in the way. All right, I'm just going to stamp down kind of to see if I'm in the right spot. Oh, look, did you see what I did? This is why this is important, and to pay attention to it, I stamped to the side. I stamped to the side. That is why when you guys get your stamp wheel home, please, 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 please make sure that you put on, okay, we're going to do this instead. And then do this. We're going to rig something up here. Okay, and make sure that your big dot is in the center, not on the side, because that will not help us. Okay, I taped that in place so that when I flip my top, it doesn't go. All right, I can live with that. I believe I can live with that. I didn't re-ink my stamp, so I'm just going to put that down because I pulled it up when I pulled the tape. All right, so I'm going to re-ink with my Volcano Lake. I know, I could hear you guys yelling, no! The dot's in the wrong place. Okay, we flip. Big dot goes in the center. Big dot in the center. So it is critical to put those dots in there. Oh, goodness. Ta-da! So I was a little off. I'm not going to go with it. I'm okay with it. There's so much intricacy in this. And I can show you a trick at the end that if you do this and you're off, and I know there needs to be a crafty alarm where you guys can hit at home in case of emergency. There should be one of those. Okay, somebody has to invent that now. Some crafty alarm that goes into our houses and is like, hey, silly crafty gal. You're being silly. Silly, silly lady. Okay. And then now, this is small too. This one, I wasn't super worried about lining up. So again, you come back to this and it just, these are a little different. I mean, it's the same as what we have, but it's a little different because it's not lettered and numbered. So I'm going to lay this in the position. This is only at 60%, so it's not going to line up perfectly. But there are examples in here, okay, that if you cut this out and you can put it in your platform and use them, that it is lined up perfectly. So I can lay my stamp over and see that's where it's supposed to go. Okay, so these samples are full-sized. So keep that in mind. I don't know why I keep moving my little cheat sheet, but I do keep moving it. Okay, and I keep turning my stamp. For some reason, when this goes right there, okay, and this goes, this is very particular where it goes, because there's like a little hook here. Okay, and then there's a little hook up here. So there are two of them that you have to get those hooks lined up. But I have to tell you, when I was just kind of, going along in my own crafty space and wasn't worried about, you know, if I spent 45 minutes lining up one section. I didn't spend 45 minutes. I don't want to terrify you, but just an example. When I was in my own crafty world, just kind of puttering along making this, I really, really, this did not bother me lining up the stamps at all. Like it comes together. I know you're looking, going like, oh my God, but it's not that bad. I promise. It really isn't. I would not have chosen this set to share with you if I had lining up stamps PTSD. I promise I would not do that to you. Okay, so we're flipping. I almost did it again, but we got the big one back. Big one in the center. Okay, and that, ta-da! It needs a ta-da. Yes, all the little hooky things. And see, you can see the hooky things now. See, like right here, there's a little hooky and a little hooky. And those two have to, and then this one lines up right on that fine edge. So, and I think that the part that makes it where you have to concentrate a little bit to line things up is the part of the stamp, the part of this set that makes it so beautiful, because it's so delicate and it's so gorgeous. And that means that, we're going to have to take a couple extra minutes, take a deep breath and line it up. It's going to take just that extra hot second and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll all be okay. Now this one as well. So I can go. You guys don't really need to see the whole kit and caboodle. Standing on my tiptoes again. I'm not that tall, so tiptoes doesn't really mean much. Okay, and I'm trying to get this lined up around the edge of the flower as well as inside the flower. So I'm getting those lines all lined up, making sure I'm in there. I like to put it off and then bring it back down. Because if I can see those white lines, I know I'm off somewhere. I believe I'm on there. Ta-da! Yes. That was one of my husband's favorite. He goes, ta-da! Oh, God, that man made me laugh. Okay. He still does. My mother and I barely go a day. There's always my husband's name was Sean. There's always a Seanism. There's always something that makes us laugh that it's just... So he gave a lot of good material to remember him by. So, all right, now we're going with Coral Berry. And that's the part. I don't know if I'm in love with the stamp set or if it's the color combo. I'm not sure. But there's something about this that I'm just like, oh. All right. There's that. So I was a little off on one of my layers. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just not. I think the flow of the stamp set is, you can kind of be. I think the last time I did this, I stamped the bee layer first. I stamped my flower first, and I stamped the leaves at the end. So I think that's how I did it last time. Now this looks like a dragon breathing out fire. Okay. The dragon breathing out fire is on the side. On the stamp set, it's like this, but it actually goes like this. Ask me how I know. It took me a hot minute to figure it out. Okay, and then again, I'm going off on purpose. And then I'm bringing it back on. And there's the curve down here. So I'm lining up the curve and I'm lining up the dragon. Didn't know you were going to be crafting with dragons today, did you? But why not craft with dragons? I don't think I'd want one in my house, but... And then up here as well, there's also a little shelf that fits on. I'll show you the little shelf after I stamp. Okay, there. We are close enough for, as my dad used to say, close enough for government work. All right. My dad worked for the government, so he always said that. this. Oh, funny the things you remember. Okay, coral berry, now ruby red. And see, I think this is what gets me. And then the other sample was done with orange cream, which again steals my heart. Big one in the middle, almost fell for it again. Okay, go down, drop that in. It's just that softness of that gray against that vibrant coral. Oh, yes, heart eyes all over the place. And then the orange cream, I'm telling you, like I know coral berry and ruby red, I'm with you, but I'm telling you that orange cream and fire brick too, not too shabby. Pretty gorgeous. All right, now you could in theory stop there if you wanted to. You really could. It's beautiful. But these other leaves have a little bit, they get a little bit of love too. So C, okay, goes up here, and we're doing ruby red up on these, okay? So they're going to go in these flowers right here, and we're going to use ruby red. These are ones, again, I need to be about 7 feet tall. I really do. But I was not made that way. I'm not even close. All right, and then looking underneath. Okay, I think we're in position to get in position. We're close enough. The fire-breathing dragon, doesn't he do a good job? I mean, he is bringing his A game. All right, and then we're going to stay. We're going to go back to our coral berry and then our ruby red over here, which I need to steal this color combo for other things. Okay, let me make sure. But the beauty of this is no matter how many times you have to flip the top and ink it up, you go back to the same location. Ta-da! Okay, and that one's good enough too. I'm going to move on. And then we have, you guys are going to go, oh, shocked face. Look at this piece. That's what I was saying. But I promise you, I'm not just saying this. When I was in my own space and just doing this, like just, coming up with the idea to do this, I was having a good time with this set. I really was. I wouldn't show you something that I was like, stressful. Because we don't need stressful. We need happiness and light. All right. So there's one of these pieces it's very hard to see. There's like a Y. This is like a Y. Okay. And that's the piece that goes over into this. It's like a little Y. And then if you get that into shape, and the other ones basically touch. Okay, back on my tiptoes. And, I hate to touch it because it's close. Sometimes I touch it with this and then I rip it right off with this too. Okay, that's as far as I'm willing to push it. All right, and then I did get a little ink on my platform, so we're going to wipe that off. Okay, and then remember, big fella in the bottom. Bottom for big fella. All right, and then the ruby red, the magic. Okay, there, wipe that off. I put my finger down and my finger rolled with the top thing. Hopefully I made it in. I think I got the notch in before I pushed it down. Okay, don't keep rolling objects next to you when you're trying to push this down. Tip number 75. I've been on for 20 minutes. We're up to the 75th tip. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay. All right. So now we are done. That is our first little layer done. Okay, I'm going to put this. Looks like a wire and electrical cord, that piece. All right. So we have our first one done. And then I'm just going to lift this because this is a sticky back. So there's our first panel, and then we can cut it down. We can die cut it. We have all kinds of options because we left it large. Okay, and then this one, I'm just going to stick down in my corner. Because I'm not using this for a wreath or something, I like sticking it in the corner. Sometimes I've gone to pick up the wheel and I've grabbed the paper too with it. So I like being able to have it in the corner so I know exactly where I am. All right, now this one I think we're gonna just stamp 2 of because why not? It's fitting on there. We could put 2 on a card possibly, or we have 1 on a card and we have 1 extra. See, I picked it up because my stamp is sticky and I did not push this down apparently. That's why I stick it in the corner anyways, just to be sure. The great thing is too, you can take out this sticky mat and wash it and it becomes super duper sticky all over again. So sometimes I touch it a lot, so I get my human oils on there from my hands. So if that happens to you, of course, Altenew has thought of everything, so we're good to go. All right, so now we're going to start with our morning frost again. Our same pattern that we had before. Okay, just making sure. I've never used this stamp before, so I'm trying to make sure I inked it up. It's hard to see. Okay, so big fella on the bottom. Big fella on the bottom. Okay. And then these. Beautiful. I sound like Will Ferrell and Morning Frost. Morning Frost is the gray we're using. I feel like Will Ferrell. Beautiful. Okay. I shockingly did not watch that movie this Christmas. I didn't watch really many Christmas movies this Christmas. Oh. I could hear you guys go, no! Woof! That alarm system you guys are talking about, it went off. It's in my brain. Patent pending, whoever created it, but it's in my brain because it went off. I was like, no! Oh, gosh. Okay, so Morning Frost. And then this one, we're getting rid of the Coral Berry and Ruby Red, but we're bringing in the ever gorgeous Orange Cream and Fire Brick, which are stunning. And we're still sticking with the Volcano Lake and the Emerald. So very, very pretty. Okay. Apparently a tad psychic. Tad psychic. At least I can hear crafty thoughts anyways. I can hear your crafty cries. No! You're gonna stamp it again. At least it just would have been a really solid color. And that's the other thing too, is, you know, if you can't see it in the Morning Frost, either stamp Morning Frost twice or jump up to the next color. It's, you know, either way, all good, all good. All right, we're gonna go with D1. Which the school I go to is a D1 school. Which doesn't mean that we're really all that great. It just means we're big. My PT guy and I were talking about that this morning. Or yesterday morning. The days are blending together. And then I just realized I have to be in church tomorrow at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I have to be up at 6 a.m. And Bridget is not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. All right. Let's see. This is another one. I'm going to use my little trick because I don't think I'm in the auto zone here. For those in the US, those auto zone commercials. I don't think I'm in the auto zone. So let's do the trick. Big guy on the bottom. B. Maybe that's why I always say big fella. B for Bridget. Hopefully nobody calls me a big fella. That would be bad. That would not be good. Oh, goodness. Okay. Do this again. All right. I'm going to go ahead, pick it up. Big fella on the bottom. On the transparency. Oh my God, there's an altercation going on in my living room. Ah, pulling things. All right. Oh, I think I'm off. Or I think I'm on. I'm not quite sure. I could be on. I believe I am on. Because we line up the top and the bottom. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom. I am going to try it on this one because we'll be able to see easier. So I believe that we are, because you line up the top of them, and I believe that's what I lined up. So that's what we're going to go with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And the beauty is we're stamping 2. So hopefully this video lets you know that we all go through moments where we're like, did we line that up right? And I've never stamped this one before. So I believe that I have lined that up correctly. That one is up in the corner. It's matching the image. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let in the yahoos against my better judgment. Come on. All right. We have one yahoo. Emery Casey is on the scene, so I can officially call it Crafting with the Caseys now because we have Emery here to craft with us, as she often is. And I almost did it again. Big fella is... Emery is already right out of the gate being super duper helpful. Okay, we're going to put that snug as a bug in a rug. Big fella goes on the bottom. Okay, put that down there. Beautiful. Now I'm not going to be able to stop that tonight. I'm not going to be able to stop that. It's always going to be beautiful. Okay. Always remember your elf movie, folks. Your elf movie. Okay, so that was orange cream. We're going to put orange cream to the side over with his Morning Frost friend. And we're going to bring our stamp set back over. So yeah, I mean, we all have these days where we're like stamp sets line up super duper easy. And then we have days where they don't. And we don't always get to pick the days when they line up. So you could have a stamp set that is your favorite in the world and you use it all of the time. And you're like, oh, I can line this up with my eyes closed. And then one day you try to line up your favorite stamp set and it just ain't happening. Or, you know, you have a big floofy cat walk through. Okay. Hi. Yes, I know. Okay. So fine. Here we go. There we go. Can you give your Emery love so you can move? Can you say hello? Yes, hello. Okay. Can we say hello at the end? We'll put you on screen and everything. Or do you want to say hello now? Okay. You ready? Well, don't be camera shy now. You ready? Okay. You're going to say hello. Okay. So we're going to say hello so that Emery can go do what Emery does. But it's like Saturdays. She likes to say hello. And as soon as she does, she can go sit down and do her thing. So there's Emery. She's here. She said hello. Hopefully now she'll go take a nap. You guys know on Saturdays, she loves to help. Well, she calls it helping. I don't know what it really is, but. All right. Yeah, she is a cutie. She is a cutie patootie. But the hard part is she knows she's cute. That's the hard part, is she knows she is adorbs. And here she is again. She loves to eat the Altenew satin masking tape, and she loves things that roll. So my desk is like a treasure trove of things for her. Yes. Dexy is quarantined out by himself in the other room. He's a little too wild for camera still. So yeah, he's out there. Okay. I probably would have done Autumn Blaze, but I think once this dyes into the paper, because it's a dye ink, so it dyes the paper. I think I'll be happy once it settles down. Or the burnt red would have looked pretty. Ooh, from Martian, of course, Martian terrain. All right, I flipped my top. I always feel funny. I flipped my lid. Because usually you're mad. So I always I flip my top. Oh, goodness. The things that go through you, Melon. It's a wild, weird, wacky place. At least mine is. Okay. But I think that's a good thing. We don't want everybody to be the same. We all have our own personal journey to share and bring to everybody. Alrighty. So we've got those. Okay. There's a set of teeth right here. So, not really. They look like a set of teeth. Okay. And I think once I add the greens, I think it's going to calm it down for me a bit. Because right now, A, I have a piece of emery fur I have to get off, I just saw. And B, it looks a little wild with the, oh gosh, I have the furs are multiplying here. It looks very dramatic, let me say, with just the orange and the gray. And I'm like, whoa, that orange is orange. Okay. Go see your brother. There. Okay, so that didn't work. All right, I think I got all the hairs off there. And no, I did not. Of course, it's that one piece of fur you didn't see. Okay, and then again, if you have a question, come over here. This one has a flower center on it, okay? So we're also going to want to line up that flower center. Put that up there. I'll put this to the side. So that gives you a good point to kind of look at. Okay, just kind of get it in its general place. Yeah, take a nap after you say hello too. Me too. I could have used a nap when I got to work today. I really could have. It was one of those days, and then my office was hot, and we had a meeting, so I was ready for a nap. Thank goodness I had one of my dear coworkers was in with me, and we watched the meeting, and we did pay attention, but in between, we also had a little bit of a chat, and it kept me so that I was awake for the meeting. So I'm very thankful to my friend Sue. She kept me awake today because when you're tired and it's warm, it's not a good combination. It's just not. My gosh. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and get all that extra photopolymer off there. I think the emery fur we're just going to have to live with. It just makes the card extra special, right? Now we're going Volcano Lake. And then we're flipping it around. We're flipping. And make sure it's in position. Okay, get that down there. Oh, see, now I'm not having any problems. Now I'm in love. That orange with that gray, it was just so dramatic. That sounds bad. It was so dramatic. Dramatic can be good. But it was so light and so dark. And my eye was like, what is going on? So now that I have the beautiful green tone in there, I feel so much better. So much better. Okay. So I've got that. I'll clean this off. I actually have to find my organic linen folder. My organic linen folder has gone missing. I don't know where it has gone to, and I haven't had time really to worry about where it's gone to. It's been very super duper busy lately. But that's good. Okay. Then this one. Okay, so this one, again, we have our kind of flower center on there. So I know straight away that I'm going to put that center there. Then we go up on tiptoes. So we can line this rest of it up. Okay, I think we're good. All is good in the crafty hood. Okay, got that. Okay, now we have the beautiful emeralds. Yeah, I think I would have, I don't know. I think I would have liked that burnt red with the orange. Like now that I'm looking at it, oh, I did not treat my photopolymer. I'm going to regret this. I'm going to regret it. Okay, big one on the bottom. Just, you need a mantra. Big fella on the bottom. Oh, very pretty. Okay, and I'm just gonna, I'm not putting this into my stamp wheel. I'm just literally touching the paper and the paper will loosen so I can pick it up. Okay, I want it just in that corner. But yeah, I don't know. I almost want I want that, I have to try this with Martian terrain, I think. I think I would leave the Volcano Lake Emerald in gray. Okay, big on the bottom. I think I would leave all of those. But I honestly, I'm feeling like I really want to try that Martian terrain, the orangey red, like the, yeah, I think. Or maybe just add the burnt red in. I don't know. I'm really feeling that. like really, really feeling that. Okay. So we're going to clean that off. And then that's it. We have stamped them out. And the thing I like about this as well is that the bang for the buck you get from this stamp set, meaning that you really don't stamp that many layers, but you are getting like it's so dainty and beautiful and just, it's just absolutely stunning. I really encourage you, as you often should, definitely go through your stash more, because let me tell you, this had been in my stash for a hot minute. This came out in 2019 and I had not used it yet. This is one of the reasons that I started like the Saturday group too, was to use up stuff that we don't generally tend to reach for, stuff that we buy because of course we see all the videos when it first comes out and we're like, oh my God, it's stunning, have to have it. And then it comes home and you're like, what was my idea again? And then it kind of goes and it sits in its beautiful folder, all protected, all happy, and it sits. But that's the thing. Let's not let our stamps sit. Let's get them out. There. Okay. So then this is, for now, my stamp wheel is living in his beautiful box because I feel he's very protected in there. And there isn't one place that Emery Casey can't go. So I've tried to find places. I actually got a dozen roses for Valentine's Day for myself, and I thought I would be able to look at them. And no, I'm not, because she wants to eat them. So they have to live in the spare bedroom, so I don't get to see them. Oh, okay. So we have these two. This one, I think I know what I'm going to do straight away. It's kind of what I talked about previously, in that because I know this is 5 by 7-ish, one of these I cut crooked. I know at about 3.5 this is going to be my panel. So I don't really I think there's too much white space on the top and bottom. So I'm going to trim it down a bit more. And I don't think, let's see, if we went to 3.5, so there's 4, that would be 3.5. And that's All right, I think I'm going to go with Wild Abandon here. So let's go, because that's the way cards come about. You know, this first one is kind of going to be my guinea pig here a little bit. Okay, I like that. So this ended up being 3.5 by 3 3/4. So you could go down if you wanted to, because it's 3 3/4 this way. You could trim off a little bit more, but then it's going to look a little different because you're going to have white space on either side, but not on the top and bottom. So I'm going to keep it at that. Hello, welcome, Sherry, welcome. Yeah, that's a good idea, Anne. Start putting my inspiration photo in with the stamp set. That's a really, really great idea, because I know I do that. You know, I see something, I'm like, oh, that's genius. I'm going to do this with it. I also maybe should keep a notebook, you know, next to me when I go on the Altenew website so I can sketch. I know some folks kind of sketch out, you know, what they're going to do. So I think that could be another idea as well. Now, I think Altenew has lots of beautiful things that you could use with this. The fine frames, the rectangle dies, all of that. We have the mix and match frames where you can get some decal going on. I am going to trim this down. I think I'm going to try to get to about 5.5. So let's see. What are we this way? This way we are at 5. I know I'm not going to get it down to 5. So let's see if we can get to 5.5 and see how we feel about that. I don't feel great about it. So I think I'm going to take some off the edge. And you know, I have to tell you, in all honesty, sometimes I don't know what size a card's going to end up being. Okay, so this is 4.25 by 5.5. And you know, I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it. I know you're saying, but there's a lot of white space right there. What are you going to do about that? So we're going to fix it. Oh, thank you, Sherry. We were showcasing the beautiful Dainty Bouquet today, and I just used the colors that they kind of had because my breath was taken away when I saw them, and I'm like, I have to create with these colors. So that's kind of the way that I went with it. So you can do a couple of things at this juncture. Okay, so I think for this one, because it is right-handy, and because I don't think it's going to interfere with my design. So this one was 3 3/4 by 3.5. So let's see, because this is an A2 panel here, or this is an A2 panel here. So, you know, I really could, I think, put this on there. And I think I could be okay with that. I'm trying to think, because if I could add something behind it. And usually I have 2 colors I'm going to reach for. I'm going to reach for a dark gray, or I'm going to reach for a navy. Okay. So let's see. I already have like kind of a navy. Is this a card base? And the thing I was mentioning earlier, I talked about the Nancy method, is that you kind of cut a card down and you have, imagine this is not here. This is your card, and you have just that blue on 2 sides, which I think would be very pretty. And, you know, maybe it's what we end up doing with this. So we had 3 3/4, okay, by 3.5. So let's say we make our own card. So let's go. I'm going to go with a 4. So let's do this. Let's go to 5.5. I like to cut these into A2 bases, and then I can cut them into other things otherwise, you know. So what I'm thinking is we do essentially this with these two cards. So I almost want to take off that 1/4 inch there. So we could do that. Okay, so I'm going to trim this at 3 3/4 by 3.5. And this, a lot of times, honestly, this is my creative process. Like, I don't know going into it, okay, I'm going to create this card and this is immediately how it's going to come out. But so this is how my card is going to look, and then I will trim off the edges. I thought I had out my, I'm sure I do. I don't know where it is. So we're going to get the 1 inch out. It's buried from my last live. Somewhere on my desk. I can feel it. Okay, and because I know I'm going to trim off some of this and this, I'm going to try to stay about a 1/4 inch inside. And I usually do use scissors on this, but again, they were here just a second ago. I just don't know where they've moseyed off to. Okay, and then put that down there. Okay, so then I'm going to take this, maybe. It's my nails. It's not the release tape. This release tape is the easiest release tape I have ever. This and the Instant Dimension foam tape is the easiest release paper. I just, with having my nails done, it creates bulk. So I don't have a thin nail that will fit go underneath it. That's my problem. It's not the tape, it's my fingers. All right, so if you must, which I must because I'm a little OCD, I must line it up. And so I'm going to look at these two lines, I think. This one. Nope. Haha, I caught it before it stuck. Okay, so let's put it here. I was looking at the wrong line. I'm like, God, that looks like a lot of space. That's because it was. All right, so here's what I want. So now I can come in, and if you're tough, I'm not tough, but if you're tough, you can do it with scissors. I am so not tough. Definitely have never claimed to be tough. Okay. So then there we have our card panel. Okay, so that would be your card. So let me see. Do I have a plain, sort of plain white piece of paper here? So you have this corner that you could put your sentiment over in this corner, or you could put your sentiment up here. But it just gives you that kind of dark edge and creates a little bit different. Now, the other way you can go is that instead you could set this time. Oh, there's my 1/4 inch foam tape and my 1/4 inch ultra sticky tape. This time, now we do need scissors. I don't tear my foam tape, and they're in the drawer right where they're supposed to be, so it explains why I'm confused as to where they are. Okay, so then we can take this. And yeah, I had a foam tape incident 30 years ago where a card fell in, so I use a lot of foam tape. 30 years ago, it has stuck with me this long. All right. I'm being restrained and not covering every inch of it. So this was 3 3/4 by 3.5. So we're going to go to 4. Well, we'll go on this side. We'll go 3.5. No, it's 3.5. 3 3/4. There we go. By 4. And if my math is correct, which it's not a lot, so if we're off, please don't judge. If I'm way off on the math, please don't judge. I'm a social worker. We have calculators. I help shape minds. I don't do math. Oh, Lord. Okay. So then, yes, and I have to, a dear friend, Nancy, came up with that. I call it the Nancy technique because she showed me how to do that. And I love that technique of offsetting your card in the center. Okay, and you got to make sure, okay, it's going the right way. It's also key. So then it's just the old-fashioned matting that's going on. So, but then you have two very different looks. And you could always, if you wanted to, you could further matte this onto a different color. You don't have to put, you could put like one of the teals or something and make another matte. You don't have to stop there, but I do like that look where it's just focused around there. So that one I would definitely put the sentiment right up there because your eye's drawn to this blue, okay? And then it kind of goes down from there. I had cut out while we were in between, I don't think that's a word, maybe it is. While we were in between sessions, I had cut out a couple of the thanks dies, which I was hoping were right here. Oh, here they are. I moved them so they wouldn't get, oh, nope, those are the flowers. Never mind. Oh, I know what I have. Okay, here we go. Maybe this will work. Okay. I did this one day that I was bored. I did a whole bundle of these puppies. So you could, and here's one that has tape on it, but is white on blue. So you could come in and do like hugs. But I think especially this one, I probably wouldn't do the navy in this corner though, because it's, if you're going to do the navy on this one, I would put it down here, but you lose kind of some of your flower. This one, I think you can put this up here and it's okay. But because you only have that navy up in the corner there, you get in a little, you don't want to have navy heavy, essentially. But so this one, for me, this would be it. So this is the card that, you know, you're all set. This is white matte foil from Spellbinders. I've done some that are white on white. And they're cool because in real life, you can see the phrasing. You see? Isn't it cool? So it's white on white. So it will really show up on like dark cardstock, but it's kind of cool. Then I was trying to see if I had any, you know, you could put, I think gold would look very pretty with this one. So you could put love you, something like that. Maybe use the, this was the enchanted, this was the enchanted gold foil. So I would use the enchanted gold pigment pad with it, but also have the antique gold foil and pigment. But yeah, I'd done a lot of these words there. And I mean, they also have black matte. I don't think I would do black. I would like the gold with that. I don't think the black would be for me. But if you like that look, absolutely go for it. You know, if that look appeals to you, we all have, our eyes all like different things. You know, we all look at something in different ways. Every person looks at the same object, but we all see different things when we look at that object. We all look in a different place first. And that's what's so beautiful about our crafting industry is we take that and we put that into our crafting. So here, this one, I may use the black, but I think it's too stark. Again, I like the gold or I like the blue. The blue would work for me as well. This is blue and gold. I don't think I like the blue and gold on this project. But I do like the blue and white on this project. So, you know, and you can also, this is rainbow, so, but the thanks words I think in gold would be really super pretty. I was hoping to see my thanks die cuts that were literally right here a second ago. I have to hide everything from the lovely Emery Casey because her help just knows no limits. Oh, that's why. Okay. She stepped on them. Hold on. She sent them across that's why. They were right here. Okay, so here's the flower we made in the live with Altenew. And then, so this I think would work well. This is the thanks from the new Himalayan blue. So I think that would be nice to have. I think a die cut word would work lovely on here. The foil ones are super fun too, but I think that would be very pretty. And again, if this white space bothers you, I probably, if I was doing this here, because of the stem looks like it's kind of free floating. So to fix that on cards, I will always put a sentiment, because that way you can keep your card size and your stem is not floating anymore. It's grounded in your sentiment. So you could even put a sub sentiment down here. You know, I mean, you could stamp it. I would stamp it below here if you wanted to, but thanks so much or something like that. So also the sentiment strips would work well. We have in the sentiment strips, there are some that are shorter, and I think you could put some of those on here as well. That would be pretty. I also think that this set on spicy yogurt would be stunning, just absolutely stunning. Yeah, this would be, I think this would be pretty too. This is another one of the hot foil plates. I just didn't show it because it's got spicy yogurt on white and it looks a little funny, but I think that would be really pretty. This one I think you could get away with either place because it is scripty. If you're really brave, you could even hot foil on it so that you wouldn't have to die cut it. Now to do that, all you would do is you take your die, and I have some right here. So let's say you wanted to put the word hello, because there is hello in this one as well. So this is I believe that's the versatile greetings, I believe, the chunkier one. So if you wanted to put hello here and hot foil, I would do it before you matted it. But all you do is you put your greeting where you would like to have your greeting. Okay. And then you just create a little hinge. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. And I know I know lots of folks have shown this. I learned this from Amy Rasavi at Prairie Paper and Ink. She showed this in a video. Okay, so, and then all you do, because you've got to, of course, put your hot foil in there. So you just take this, you bend it back, you put your hot foil down, and then you put your plate. So basically, it would be the other way because your plate would be on the bottom, flat, then your foil, then your paper. But what would happen is, let's say this is the hot foil surface. Okay, so your plate's on there. It's all warming up. It's warm. You put your foil down, you bend that over, and it's going to foil and give you a perfect result. And then that way, you don't have to actually cut your foiled sentiment out. You can just have your foiled sentiment on your project. And that will work on anything. So hopefully that opens up a few doors for you with your sentiments, more ways to be able to use those. As you see, I love them. I have a whole dish of those and the tessellation dies because I love the tessellation dies as well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed. It ended up being a little over 2 hours today of crafty videos. I had an hour in the Altenew. It was supposed to be in the fan group, but it ended up being on the Altenew page. And then we had an hour over here. I'm just trying to move these cards, my scraps, just a scotch, because of course I'm not going to throw those out. Perfect sentiments strips there. So I'll leave that hugs kind of up there. And then put that one in. And again, this one, this would look really pretty, I think, too, if you put the gold cardstock on there, the gold glitter. I think that would be super pretty. But I do love an old mat, meaning, you know, those were the olden days. That's what we had, were the mats. You know, that's the fun that we had. So it was nice to go back in time, just a scotch. So I will be back next week with another Tuesday. What we're doing, I don't know. I generally don't until right before. But I actually planned this on Sunday. I was so proud of myself. I couldn't help myself. I was like, oh, I'll pick a stamp set. And then I looked and I was like, ooh, so it doesn't happen very often that I'm like, I have to create with this now. But I really did. I had to create with that at the moment, and I had so much fun with the set. So I wanted to share that. So I'm hoping on Tuesdays, I'm sure once in a blue moon, we'll throw in some of the newer stuff, but I'm hoping that Tuesdays can be more about some older stuff, and loving your stash, because we all have glorious, beautiful things, in our stash. And so we might as well use them and love them, because we purchased them because we love them. So we got to get all that use out of them. And it's just an extra hour a week that we get to spend together. So with that, I will see some of you tomorrow night. I have the Craft Your Life. It's a paid class tomorrow night. I do one a month with the CYL kit from Altenew, the Craft Your Life kit. And the rest of you I will see on Saturday. Don't forget, this Saturday is very, very exciting because we have 2 classes this Saturday. The amazing Joy D'Souza is coming in at 7 p.m. to show how to create her gorgeous, gorgeous orchids card, which was the Craft-A-Flower last month. So you get to use the Craft-A-Flower this month, this today, and then we'll get to use that on Saturday. So we'll see you on Saturday for some more crafty fun. Everybody be well until then, and I'll see you